All right, guys. Good morning. How we doing? Good morning. Good morning. Mozam, Robert. How you doing? Monday. It's cold as shit. Oh, it's cold. What's the weather like near you guys? I can't get out of bed, man. It's like 30 degrees when I get out of bed, and I'm freezing my ass off. It's tough. Yo, yo. Good morning. Pants are so fancy. Morning. Good morning. Yeah, early morning for some. 8 o'clock here Eastern time. I know it's like, what is it? It's like 5 o'clock on the West Coast. It's early. Feel for you guys. Ohio. Yeah, I'm sure New York City's cold as hell. Hawaii's always warm. Nice. Yeah. What is it in Hawaii? I'm interested. Miami iguanas are falling out of the tree. I heard that. There's not those big iguanas aren't where I am on the west coast of Florida. -2 in Michigan. Is that Michigan? Yeah, it's pretty cold in Hawaii. 37 degrees. Oh, I guess that's on Big Island. There's some parts that are a little bit hotter. All right. 63 in Corpus Christi. All right, guys. So last week, as you guys know, we closed the week off on a pretty positive note. We got that push higher towards end of day, and price action looked nice. But you know, there is China closed entire week. It's a pretty big week in my opinion. So some pretty big levels that we need to watch today. The market pushed into that top resistance line, that channel that we've been watching on the ES on the Nasdaq. We pushed right into it. So this is a pretty important week to see what we do at this level. So that's what we need to focus on today and into this week. We have a lot of earnings coming out this week as well. And then we have, do we have anything big on? We have a pretty normal week of economic news, I would say. Jobless claims, employment rates. So I wouldn't say anything massive on the economic calendar, but still during our normal economic calendar, which we always have to watch out for, and then earnings, which are important, and then that big technical level. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's make sure we are aware of what we need to watch today. And I got to be honest, guys, there are some really nice charts out there. If this market, I don't know if this is the week where we find some continuation. Even if it is to the downside, there are some very nice charts out there that I think you really need to watch. I think you'll probably see some of that resist. We'll get into that once I get into the futures, but I would say you probably get a little bit of resistance here in the morning because you are opening near those rejection levels. So maybe you can expect a little downside early morning. What you really want to see is some kind of high or low form today. That's really what you want to see. So let's go ahead and get started. So futures as always, right? NASDAQ, ES, Dow, Russell. We'll look at all those, get a good idea of where we're sitting, economic and earnings calendars. And then we'll get into some individual names that I really like the charts on. I really do. I'm not sure when that time to take this risk is. I'm not sure if this week is the time to do it yet. But we need to be at least watching these levels because they are very important. So Apple, as you guys know, I think Apple continues to hold this market higher. Apple is just incredible. I mean, Apple's 6% off the highs, which is basically like, it's not even a pullback. It's just like a little dip in the price action. Apple is just a monster. I mean, I think we all know that. You guys know I'm a big advocate for that stock. It just continues to prove itself as one of the safety tech plays. When a stock has $260 billion in cash, it's not going anywhere. I mean, Apple can't, nothing drastic is going to happen to Apple. Maybe the stock does go sideways with the market. Maybe it does fall with the market. But in the long term, I'm pretty confident on Apple. And I think a lot of people are. And that's the reason why it's only down like 6% off the highs, right? So Apple is bouncing right off the 20 SMA on the weekly chart and right off the 100 SMA on the daily chart. I want to show you guys this level. Affirm made a huge move off the previous all-time low. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Affirm, I actually underplayed this a little bit more, right? I didn't think Affirm would have the juice to get a push higher after that Visa news, but it surely did. I think Affirm closed the day up like 15%, something crazy like that. So right off all-time lows. Oxy, if you're listening, congratulations. One of the traders in our Discord made a huge play off that. So Affirm, definitely worth watching today. AMD, $100 a share, a very strong $100 a share level, and they report earnings tomorrow. So this is going to be interesting. AMD has been, you guys probably start to feel like when a ticker starts to fade, like when people don't talk about it much. It feels like AMD is that ticker. Like I haven't looked at AMD much. I haven't heard about AMD much. And around that time is when those stocks start to turn around. When you start to forget about them, they start to catch some momentum. So I definitely want to keep AMD on my charts all of this week because I want to make sure I'm aware of any earnings continuation and any bounce off 100 because this is a very key psychological level. Tesla, 860 retest. I want to show you that today. 860 is a monster level. Netflix, you guys know Netflix took an absolute dive off earnings. It made a higher low last week. Higher low, higher high. So I want to show you guys this on Netflix. And we also know in the back of our head, right, on Netflix that, you got a huge stake taken by Bill Ackman. And then you also have you have this CEO Reed Hastings buying, thanks for posting that, Bronx, buying more shares as well. So interesting. I want to keep an eye on Netflix. I think this is an opportunity. I would not be scared to watch Netflix after this huge dive off earnings. NVIDIA, 240 key level. BABA triple bottom. And finally, Walmart, 135 demand. I think this is at least a great stock to watch, guys. If you're someone that likes to buy, if you like to trade channels and if you like to try to see where stocks are holding a channel low, Walmart is the definition of it right now. It's at the bottom of a triple bottom in a sideways channel, and I think has the possibility to move higher. So I want to show you guys Walmart, and then we will get into what the members want to look at. So far, we have quite a bit of names there. So if you guys are a member of the channel, make sure to check out the Google Docs, and you guys can put your tickers in there for us to look at the end of the stream. So let's go ahead and start real quick by just taking a look at the earnings calendar here, so we are aware of what's coming. All right. So here we go, and it's pretty massive. All right. So today, nothing major today, nothing that would really stand out to me. I don't really know any of these companies, to be quite honest, so not too worried about today. Tomorrow, Exxon's big for the energy sector. UPS is pretty big. Pulte Group is housing. That's important. Keep an eye on what they say. After close tomorrow, AMD, PayPal, Alphabet, GM, Starbucks, Gilead, EA. Is that EA? Yeah, that's EA, Electronic Arts. So some big, and MicroStrategy. So that's a big day tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow after hours, there's a lot of earnings. I mean, this is going to be very important to see what a lot of these companies say. Wednesday, AbbVie, one of my favorite stocks. DR Horton, Thermo Fisher, Waste Management, some big ones there. Facebook or Meta, Qualcomm, Spotify, T-Mobile, some big ones there. We got Penn National, Nokia, Honeywell, Shell for energy, Amazon, Ford, Snapchat, Pinterest, Activision, Unity Software. It's just a lot of stuff here, guys. This is a big week. So be careful around all these earnings. Be careful if you are in any of these plays. Make sure you're aware of it here, guys. Take a screenshot. Make sure you know. Is Baba here? Baba this morning? Huh. They don't even have it on here. Baba earnings pre-market today. Really? It's not on the earnings whisper. But yeah, just make sure you guys are aware of these, right? That's what you need to know. Let me check on that. Baba. When's Thinkorswim saying the earnings are? Thinkorswim saying February 3rd. We'll have to confirm that. But Thinkorswim saying February 3rd. It's still a question mark, so it's not confirmed here. But all right. So let's go economic calendar real quick. Let's get that out of the way, and then we'll get started here, guys. Let's just make sure we're aware of everything going on first. All right, so this morning, 9:45 Chicago PMI could be something to watch out for 15 minutes after market open. We got some Fed presidents speaking. Could be at least interesting to see if there's any movements around what they say. I wouldn't expect them to say anything crazy. Probably just sort of reiterating some of the things already spoken about. We got our normal Tuesday manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing index, job opening, job quits, construction spending. This might be interesting around, you have Pulte and DR Horton earnings this week, which are home builders. Construction spending, that could be an interesting level to watch, an interesting number to watch, to sort of get a feel on how the real estate market is. ADP, home ownership rates, and then we have our normal initial jobless claims and non-farm payrolls. So nothing too big, but some stuff to keep an eye out there on the economic calendar. All right. Let's get started. Not NA, NQ. There we go. So guys, I think we all are aware of what we're doing right now here on the market, right? Let me just go ahead and mark out where we're holding right now. So we are holding right in this 13,850, this whole zone right here. This is February and then April highs. We are sort of retesting that level right there. You guys can see that, right? Previous highs, and we're trying to hold that level right now. Now, what's more important than this daily chart is, and actually I want to really quickly point out where we're finding resistance is these October lows, right? So you guys can see, this is our zone right here. This is our consolidation level right here. Which way do we come out of this? That is what we really need to focus on. Which way do we come out of this sideways channel? Is this a pullback, little push higher, and then a lower low? Or is this a pullback, consolidation, and then a higher high, and we start to push back higher, right? I don't know. I'm not going to be someone to try to guess that, but it's going to be easy to tell because we have our levels. So if we go to the 5-day, 15-minute, we can easily see what's going on here. Actually, you know what? Let's go hourly. Here we go. All right. It's pretty easy to see. We can see we have the previous highs right here at 14.6. You guys can see that triple top 1, 2, and 3 starting to reject this morning, right? That's key. And then you have your lows here 1, 2, 3, 4, 13,850. So when does this become an easy move to trade? It becomes an easy move to trade when we either get that push or we get the breakdown. So in between this chop, it's going to be a little bit difficult. The market's going to stay volatile. You're going to see continuous price action like we've been seeing for the last week. If we by chance get any push over or any slip under, that's when this gets a little bit easier. That's when I think we know the next direction. So as long as we're trading in between this range, it's going to be a little bit choppy, a little bit difficult. What I'm hoping for, I've been taking advantage of the downside. I've done very well this month, actually, taking advantage of the downside. But I would like to see this breakout because I think this breakout presents a ton of opportunity for everyone out there. I think if we get this breakout, if we get the hold of this 14.6 and we start to push off of it, you guys can see, I think this does create some pretty big opportunity. And I think you probably move up pretty nicely, maybe up to 15,000. Maybe you retest this 15,000 psychological level if you do get that push over 14.6. So that's what I'm watching today, guys. That's the big watch. That is like the major thing that you need to be looking at today. Do we get over this consolidation range? On the QQQ, just to show you guys what it is on the QQQ, because I know some people prefer to watch the ETF versus the NASDAQ, the futures contracts. You can see right here. It is right around that 350, 450. You can even call it 355, 356. It's all sort of in this range, all in this 354 to 356 area, right in here, right? If you can get over that on the QQQ, that is where I think you get a little bit of an easier move to the upside. To the downside, you guys can see it's right around this 338 level. 338 on the QQQ, down on the downside, right? So that is your range, 354, 355 to 338. Very clear, very defined. We need to see a move above or below that. ES, exact same thing. Exact same thing. So you can see we come up to it this morning. We're starting to reject it already. So is this a very nice, easy downside play today? Do we catch some easy put options? Does this just slip back to the bottom? I don't know. Do we get the push through? I don't know. But I am definitely going to be watching that. So on the upside on the ES, 44.30, I would say 44.50 is the real level. That's like the real level that I think you probably need to get through. That's probably that psychological 44.50 level right there. That would be probably where I'd like to see us through, right in this area. But you do have those tops right around the 44.30s. Anywhere above 44.30, 44.40, 44.50 is all going to be very tough as we start to push up to the upside. To the downside, 42.70, right? Very easy. 42.70. You do not want to see us hold below that level. So very easy little sideways channel. If you're someone that has patience, that just wants to wait for the easier move, wait for the clear breakout of this channel. If you don't want to trade in this channel, which you don't have to, I guarantee you there will be opportunity once we break out of this channel. I don't know which direction it is, but there will be opportunity. On the SPY, the SPY ETF, you guys can see it's 443 to the upside and 426 to the downside. Very easy, right? Clear channel. If we break it, I think we get a push. I just want to show you one more thing on the ES before we move on, and that is what happened the last time we were at this level, right? That's pretty important to me. Look at what happened the last time we were at this level. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen again. You know, that's not what I'm here to say. But I do want to just at least show you where we were the last time this market bounced. It was at the exact same level, guys. Exact same level. 426. We put in a very similar channel. Look at this channel, right? You guys, this was about a weak channel as well, right here. You see this? Right here. This little area on the ES, that was a channel, which looks awfully similar to this channel, right? If we get that higher high, I'll show you right here. If we get that push over that resistance, the pullback, create an inverse head and shoulders. You can see it right here. Inverse head and shoulders on the ES. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If you get that move, which would look like this, I'll show you right here. It would look like this, right? If you get the push, you get the pullback, and you get that, I think that is very bullish. Now, I'm not saying that will happen, but that is at least what I am eyeing here on the ES. That is at least what I am eyeing here on the ES. It is very, very similar. So we'll see what happens. Just want to show you guys that. We'll see. Just watch that 443 on the SPY. Okay, let's go to the Dow, the YM. Exact same thing. I mean, it's all the exact same right now. You guys can see, look at where we bounced last time on the Dow. We have this 33,500, 33,600 double bottom here on the Dow. And look at where we are right now. Exact same thing, right? We have the channel. You guys can see 1, 2, 3. Little triple bottom right at 33.6. And we have the triple top at 34.7. So it's the exact same thing again. Do we get the push over, or do we get the flush back to lows? I think that is what is on everyone's watch this entire week. This is a massive watch here on all the indices. Finally, the Russell, not looking as good as the rest, right? We have clear underperformance on the Russell. Why do I say that? The Russell is just making lower lows and lower highs right now. We are not, look, all the other indices are up here today, right? All the other indices are right up here today, testing that top resistance. The Russell is not. The Russell looks like it's about to test the bottom support. So Russell, clear underperformance. I would still stay away from small caps here. They still look to be very weak, making lower highs and lower lows. This might be something to watch to the downside today. Very clear underperformance on the Russell today, guys. So you can see that right there. If we zoom out, the Russell, really, I don't think it has much support until 1700. I continue to say that. There's just nothing here, right? I mean, what's holding this up? It's right here, 1700. That's what's going to hold it up. So Does the Russell need to slip to 17? Potentially. Potentially. All right, guys. So to recap the futures, we have that channel on all the futures indices, all the indices, all the levels. They're basically the same right in that channel. So that is what you need to watch today. All right. Let's get into some individual names. This is a beautiful chart. I absolutely love this chart. This is Apple. Look at this Apple chart. This is the weekly chart, and this is the 20 SMA, this blue line. 20 SMA on the weekly chart. It looks great. You guys can see a fantastic bounce off of that little pullback to the 20 SMA. What has it done every other single time? 20 SMA, 20 SMA, a little bit under 20, 20 bounce, 20 bounce, 20 bounce, right? So this thing just looks like it wants to ride the 20 SMA in the weekly chart, and I have no problems with that. You can see we are getting that bounce off earnings, fantastic earnings. Really like to see if Apple can get some continuation this week. That would be really good for the market. You have a little bit of a pullback right to that 20. Really like that. Increased volume as well off of earnings. Looks really good. Do I watch the VIX? Yeah, I watch the VIX. Of course, you got to. So here's the daily chart, and you guys can see where did Apple bounce off of on the daily chart? 100 SMA. 100 SMA on the daily, pull back right to the 100. Little four daily candles right at that 100, and then you, get the bounce off earnings. Really nice. I would love to see the continuation. Does it happen? I'm not positive. But what I do like is that Apple was able to reclaim this little 168 to 169 level. You can see that I was expecting Apple to find resistance here, right in this area, this little bottom, little double bottom. I expected Apple to maybe push into that and then reject off of it. That was my honest thought. I thought we were going to get a rejection off that 168, 169. But we're pretty decently through it. So you can see right here, we're through that now. I think we need to see that 168 hold. For sure, right, on Apple. So Apple continuation is definitely on my watch. I'm looking to see if you can get any movement after that strong earnings play, if we can get any movement on tech. This is what I'll be watching, Apple for sure. So watching Apple above that key level, 100 SMA hold, earnings continuation, definitely something I'm watching. I mean, I just keep buying shares of it. I could care less. But, let's see what happens. Affirm. So Affirm is bouncing right off of all-time lows. Very interesting. Am I confident that this holds? I'm not 100% confident, as these stocks are just not in these stocks are under a lot of pressure right now. The payment processors, the fintech names, the buy now, pay later sort of trade, sort of under a lot of pressure. But, you got to respect that it found some very strong buyers off this all-time low around 46.50. So you can see that weekly candle right there. If I go to the daily chart, you guys can see this right here. I do not want to put it in order. Right here, right? So previous all-time lows, nice little daily candle here. I think you probably would like to see a engulfing move over the high of this candle, which is 61.75. Right around 61.75. That is probably where I'd want to see an engulfing move. So if I go down to the 30-minute chart, yeah, see, this is exactly where it's starting to get stuck. It sort of looks just like the indices. So look at this little channel on Affirm. You see this previous high, and you see this previous support. That is where I think you need to get Affirm over before I really think this is a real move. Because you can see support into resistance this morning. If you get a move over that, I could say, maybe there's a little bit more upside. Because if we do go to the daily chart, when you guys look at daily charts and you look for reversals, you need to see a green candle engulf the previous price action, right? You want to see an engulfing green candle. And this is a green candle, but it is not engulfing previous price action, right? You need to see it engulf, this previous price action right here. If you can engulf that price action, hold it as support, then I get more confident for upside. You get a little bit of a bottoming formation. So that's what I'm looking for in Affirm. Wouldn't say to trust it with, your whole account here, but 61.70, the high of this candle on the 26th would be what I'm watching, 61.75 on Affirm. Could be an opportunity, guys. I mean, this thing is sold off like crazy. I mean, what is this from the highs? It's down 70% from the highs. So that's wild. So keep an eye on that one. AMD. I sort of like this chart. I know it's questionable here, especially with earnings, but I'm definitely going to be watching this week. We can see it's pretty obvious support here. I mean, there's a clear reason why this is finding support. You guys can see $100, first of all, is a very psychological level. When a stock comes down to $100 a share, it's always going to have some type of reaction. It's just that psychological level. Volume is increasing pretty nicely here. We can see that. Nice volume increase in the recent trend. And we're right here at this previous support. Triple bottom at 100. That's where we held before we made that big run. So, does AMD hold this 100 this week? That is what I'm going to be very interested in. You do have some resistance above, of course, and you probably wait for this to report earnings. But, I mean, if there's ever a time for a stock to move higher on good earnings, it's after the stock, pulls back about 40%. So AMD is 40% off the highs. And if they come out with good numbers, I can only imagine that this probably has some opportunity to the upside. I'm not saying you should play earnings because that is a total gamble. But this is very interesting to me. So you guys can see $100 held very strong on Friday, starting to push higher. Really big move in the after hours. Look at that. I mean, the market closed right here. We moved up another $3 or $4 a share in the after hours, and now we're sort of holding that pre-market. This is definitely a watch today. Here's the level that I would watch out for. These previous lows look very, very tough. So if you are trading AMD today, watch out for 108 area. You guys can see you have previous resistance or support, previous support, previous support. It is turning into resistance already this morning. So if you get a push over that 108, I'm definitely going to be watching this. If you get that push over 108, I would assume you get a little bit of push here, a little bit of momentum. Maybe you try to get back into this channel between 108 and 115, right? So you need to break these support lows, and you cannot turn that into resistance. If this turns into resistance, you're going to see this, right? You're going to see the rejection and the move lower. So you need to see 108 break here on AMD. If you get that break and you get some more continuation, this could be a very nice play. It's sold off 40%. It's sitting at psychological 100 support. It's sitting at a previous support triple bottom. It has maybe an earnings type of continuation move to it before earnings, post-earning, or pre-earnings run-up. So I'm definitely going to be watching AMD today. Let me know what you guys think about that one. That one looks pretty good to me. All right, Tesla. 800 has been pretty solid. 800 has been pretty solid. You can see right here. So you got the 800 level psychological, previous support or previous resistance looks to be turning into support. If we go to, what's the expected move? Let's see on AMD. Expected moves are going to be all pretty large, guys. This is not the earnings quarter to play earnings plays. The reason for that is, implied volatility is very high. Volatility is very high. Option contracts are overpriced, and the expected moves on earnings are going to be large. So right now it's about 7.2. So 7.2. Let's just say AMD closes at 10. Let's say it closes at what it is tomorrow afternoon. So that's 105. So it's about 7% of an expected move. That's pretty large. All right, so you got to be careful when playing these earnings. All right, Tesla, 800 hold. Why am I watching 860? It's this little area right here. This could be a very tough resistance level to get through. I'm definitely being cautious of this 860 today, guys. So you have this previous support at 860 that is turning into resistance this morning. Be careful here. You want to see Tesla get over this 860 area. Previous support turning into resistance this morning. I would need to see Tesla over 860 with some strength to feel like this has any potential upside. After that, I would assume 900 psychological has something to say. Intraday, I would assume that has some kind of resistance coming in around 900, the psychological level around 900. And then you'd probably maybe get back to these lows of Wednesday, Thursday, right around 920s. So Tesla has a long way to go if it has any upside. If there is 900, 920 rejections, be careful there. But I'm starting, I would not be opposed to seeing if Tesla does one of these, right? Push down, push higher, previous support, turning into resistance. If we reject there, I would not be opposed to seeing something like this. If we see that move, if we see that rejection at the 860, previous support, if we push higher into the 860, if we start to see weakness on the NASDAQ today, if we start to see weakness intraday here, and we cannot get above 860s, I would definitely look for that slip. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but that is the way I'm looking at it, right? I'm either looking for the 860 rejection today, or I'm looking for the breakthrough into around 900. So that's what I'm watching on Tesla. 860 key level today. 860 key level today. Keep your eyes on that. Netflix. There's going to be an opportunity on Netflix. I honestly do agree with, I do believe that. This was a pretty monster downside move. You guys can see in the daily chart, this was a monster move. So huge red, right, off earnings, huge gap down. I'm not saying that this is going to fill the gap because that would probably require a very strong market back up to 500. But what I am noticing here in the short term is some pretty decent higher lows. Let me pull this up here. You guys can see right here. We're starting to see that little platform build here, right? Higher lows. This was a low here, right? So you can see the stair steps that are forming. Here's stair 1, right? Stair step 2, stair step 3. So you're starting to see those higher lows come in, and you're also seeing the higher high come in this morning. So that is indication of an uptrend. You can see lower low, higher low, higher low. Here's a high, higher high, higher high. So there could be some opportunity here. I don't want to forget about this one. Next levels I would be watching is probably around 403, and then right around this 414 would be the next resistance levels that would be watching. I mean, I would assume if you can get over 414, there could be some pretty aggressive upside here if you get over 414. Nice little curl, nice little higher lows, higher highs. As long as you hold this little uptrend, I would assume Netflix can continue. If you see this move, no good, right? If you see that move, that's no good. Netflix is up pretty nicely here in the pre-market already. I mean, it's starting to move pretty aggressively here already. You guys can see we're up to 397 pre-market. One of the stronger names here on my watch list. Yeah, Netflix and Tesla both up $12 a share in the pre-market here. So watch that today. Watch Netflix. It's not the best price action. Definitely not. It's sort of choppy price action. But this hourly chart looks awfully interesting to me. Higher highs, higher lows, a little bit of an uptrend. Looking to see if we can get that push over 400 today. So watch that today on Netflix. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is going to sort of be just driven by AMD this week. I think NVIDIA is just going to be sitting back seat of AMD, really. That's really what we're going to see, in my opinion. I think you're just going to see the chip stocks get moved around from AMD earnings, which are tomorrow afternoon. So I would watch AMD to sort of drive this move on the chips. You have, NVIDIA, Qualcomm, maybe TSM a little bit. So watch that. Here's your very, very defined channel on NVIDIA. It's very clear where NVIDIA needs to get above, guys, right? It's very clear. It needs to get over 240. If it cannot get over 240, I don't have much hope for this to move to the upside. That is what you need to see. It's very clear, right? Resistance, resistance, resistance. You need to get over 240, and you need to hold it as support. So I just want to show you that, guys, today. this will most definitely move off AMD earnings. If AMD goes higher off earnings, NVIDIA will find momentum. If AMD goes down off earnings, they are going to assume that NVIDIA has very bad earnings as well. If AMD comes out with bad earnings, NVIDIA is going to move lower as well. So watch out for that. That is if you are an NVIDIA swing trade and you don't know what AMD is reporting earnings, that is you need to make sure you know that. You can't just blindly, be in an NVIDIA trade while you have AMD reporting earnings. It is most definitely going to move this stock. So watch out here, 240 and 215. There's your channel. It's very clear where you need to see it get through. That is what I am watching this week, and I will be watching it along with AMD to see if they are, sort of moving together. If I see AMD strong, I'm going to assume NVIDIA will be strong as well. All right, BABA triple bottom. Very interesting. It could not get below 210. As you guys know, I played this to the downside, but I got out. When did I get out? I got out right here. So took profits on BABA on the 27th. What was the 27th? 27th was Thursday. So I took that profit on Thursday. It was about a 53% trade. And the reason I took that, I don't know if you guys remember the analysis on this one, but I was watching us push back into this 140 level, and I wanted to see if I could get that rejection again, right? Previous support turning into resistance, it did it beautifully. It happens all the time. So I took it off that, took about 50%. But you guys can see, look at this triple bottom that it is now forming here. The Asian market was also up very nicely this morning, I'm sorry. It's up about 1% right now. The Hang Seng and the Nikkei is up about 1%. So that is driving BABA to be a little bit higher here. You can see the triple bottom here. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Would I assume the next move on BABA could be upside? Probably. I don't want to be chasing puts as we find support at a triple bottom. The put entry, if you were looking at puts on BABA, the put entry was up here, right? That's the put entry. If anything, this is a call entry or just a, don't touch entry. Just leave it alone. But I would be careful chasing puts for more downside off this triple bottom, unless you really see this unravel this week and you start to see the flush under 110. If you see that, then yeah, maybe there's some opportunity. But in my opinion, I think the downside's probably over for now. Unless you get that flush below 110, then you're probably moving down to like 85, which would be absolutely insane. But we can see, there could be some more downside. You can see this pattern is very similar, right? Previous highs, rejection, previous highs, rejection. Let's see what happens. Just be a little bit more cautious as you take puts at support, right? I'm more comfortable up here because there's more margin. Taking puts down here, you have a little bit less margin if it does bounce off the 110. So just be careful of that. Watch that BABA triple bottom. Yes, we already went over Tesla. You can scroll back on the live stream if you want. All right. So daily chart on Walmart. I'm trading Walmart, right? It's a little bit funny. I don't really trade Walmart much, but I do like this chart and I want to take a shot at it. This is a trade that I like to take shots at because there are so many times in the past, guys, where I look at a chart like this and I just say, why would I not buy that? It's so obvious. How did I miss this trade? How did I not, why didn't I get into this with some risk that I'm willing to lose? Why didn't I, take a little shot here? So I'm taking it here. I'm taking this shot. I have a Walmart February call, 139 call, pretty close to the money. I didn't want to go too far out of the money. And you guys can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what has it done every single time? It's gone higher. Every single time it's come down here, it has gone higher. So I'm taking that. I'm taking that technical trade. I have about $300 in the trade. It's right here, right? I have about $330 in the trade. I have a February 22nd 139 call, and I am just looking for that push into probably maybe 146. 146 would be ideal. I don't know if we're going to get up to 146. That would be monstrous. That would be a very nice swing trade if we can see this back into 146. Earnings are approaching. They are a day before my expiration, right? So if I'm red on this trade and if Walmart's just sideways here and I'm down like maybe 60, 70%, something like that, I'll probably hold it through earnings because at that point, all I could lose is another $30. If I get this earnings push up, so let's say I'm up like 100% before earnings, I'll take the profits. So we'll see what happens. It's going to depend on Walmart's reaction pre-earnings, depending on how I manage this position. So watching Walmart, guys, looking to see if this thing can push up this week. I like the technicals, but on top of the technicals, I like the type of stock it is because I know it has a little bit of resiliency in a shitty market, right? Walmart is a little bit of a safe haven stock. So if that safe haven move comes into play, I'll be protected there because Walmart does sometimes move higher in a very difficult market. It's somewhat of that safe haven name. So I like that. On top of the technicals, I feel comfortable with that because I know Walmart can perform. If tech gets weak, Walmart will probably get some money. Walmart will probably get some buyers. So that's Walmart. That's the last one I had for you, but we're about to get into some more charts from the members. Holy crap, you guys loaded this up this week. If you guys could press the like button, please. Please. Press the like button. We're about to go over all these names. I already went over Tesla. Already went over AMD. So you guys can just scroll back if you wanted to see those. I'm not going to go over them again. So we're about to go over all these tickers here. If you guys could just take 1 second out of your day, scroll down, press the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out the Discord, check out the Options Insider merch if you guys are here. And let's go ahead and get into this. So yeah, I'll add Microsoft to that. I think that's probably a good stock to watch. But we're going to have to go quick here, guys. So just get ready for some speed round. Make sure you're paying attention because we got a lot here. I don't like anything about this stock. What is this? BAH? You've been sideways for a really long time. Maybe you have a little channel here around 75 and 90. I would just look for it to hold this 75. If it does not, maybe 68. But this stock has been pretty damn sideways. I'm not sure what this is. Booz Allen Hamilton. You need to hold this 74, 75 here. This had earnings, it looks like. But yeah, that's what I would watch. If you break down 74, 75, you're probably going down to 68. So watch that. Big level there. CHPT. Charge point. You got a double bottom, right? Not sure why this is not the best stock to be trading right now in the first place. Yeah, guys, if a stock looks like this, please, I'm not trying to offend anyone. Don't let anything I say offend you because sometimes I come off a little bit negative, but I just don't want to see you guys get caught up into these stocks. This is a death of your account, getting stuck in these types of plays. Look at this stock and look at this stock. Which stock do you think it's easier to make money on? Which stock is it easier to make money on? The stock that just goes up and never stops because it's a fantastic company, or the stock that you chase on ChargePoint because Wall Street Bets is making you look at ChargePoint, right? What's going on here? Nothing but negative, nothing but downside, nothing but shit. Sorry. If anyone gets offended, I very much apologize, but I'm going to give you my honest truth here. If you come to my live stream, I'm giving you my honest truth. Do not trade this stock. I can't get around it. All right, daily chart on mRNA. I think mRNA continues to slip, but you have slipped quite a bit already, so you need to be careful here, right? 145, right around 145 to 188. Let me get a little bit more time here, so you can see how this looks in the longer time frame, right? So you can see, right, 150, 145, you guys can see this little support that's coming in. So support. I would probably look for mRNA to push into 188 and then reject. That would be fantastic. If you can get this on mRNA, if you can get this push onto 188, you see this previous resistance, 1 and 2. If you can get that push in the 188, this could be a beautiful downside. Beautiful downside. So rejection, rejection. Let's get this fake push in the 188, and let's get that downside move. That would be fantastic. That's what I'd look for on mRNA. Or just, a crack under 145. All right, Upstart. Upstart could be a play with Affirm. Keep an eye on Affirm and Upstart together. They tend to move together. I'm not sure why. They're just sort of like brother and sister now. I'm not sure really what's going on there, but they definitely do move together. So you guys can see you got a little bit of support here around the 90 area, right here on 82.90. Again, guys, this is a stock that it's just a falling knife. I would never look for upside here. There's just no reason to look for upside. The only time I would feel in any comfort to look for upside is if you got this move. That's the only time I'd look for upside here. Nothing else. If there's, this is every push you see on Upstart is going to get sold into. What is telling you, why else would you think differently here? Every push in the past has got sold into. Any push here, I believe, gets sold into. The only time I look for upside here is if you get this big push, if you get an actual engulfing price action move. Besides that, guys, the small caps are just getting wrecked. There's just no momentum here. You have to understand the market we're in. This is why I hate when people look at small caps right now looking for upside, because the market just does not accept small caps right now. The market, there's no one buying them. There's no money getting into these plays. So no one wants to be invested here. No one wants to be invested in Upstart right now. No one wants to be invested in ChargePoint. No one wants to have money in DraftKings. No one wants to have money in stocks like Peloton. No one wants to be, no one wants to be in money with their money in those types of plays. AMC, GameStop, all these stocks that you guys hear on Wall Street. No one wants their money there. It's not safe right now. So if there's no money flowing into these stocks, why would you be looking for, upside? Stick with the stocks that are somewhat that are good companies. The stocks that continue to try to hold up, Nvidia, AMD, Apple, Microsoft, Google, those stocks, the stocks that are actual legit stocks, not high multiple, low revenue, pushed up stocks that were just memes of 2020 and 2021. Yeah, guys. I mean, it's a matter of all of that retail money that was chasing these stocks. They're all gone. There's a lot of people that are, getting crushed here. So if the Russell's moving lower, stop looking at these stocks. They're just not going to work out unless you're trying to catch a bottom, which I just don't think is a good idea. MU reports earnings this week. I would maybe just keep an eye on it with AMD earnings. It might be a little bit tough. This is sort of getting weak here. I don't really love this chart. I don't love this chart at all, to be honest. Coinbase, it's going to be with crypto. You just got to watch crypto. If you don't like crypto, then you don't like Coinbase. Coinbase is 100% correlated to crypto. I don't care what anyone says. It's like you're basically trading Bitcoin. So you guys can see 76, right? I would watch that, but MU, this chart does not look very good to me. I mean, maybe you get a push off 76, but it's pretty stagnant now. You really needed that high date, that all-time high breakout here, but you did not get it. So I would say this probably holds pretty weak. Maybe watch this with AMD earnings. PayPal, another one that's just been sort of out of, it's not in. It's not in. These stocks aren't in. So what I would look for in PayPal is a push into 170 and a rejection. That's what I'd look for. You can see right here, previous lows, previous support. If you push into that, I would look for a push and a rejection. If you get a push into 170, be careful there. Be careful around 170, 171. If you get that push, you are going to see some resistance because that is a previous triple bottom support. So watch out for 170 there on PayPal. Microsoft, I love this stock. You guys know I'm a big proponent of Microsoft and Apple. These are stocks that I think continue to perform. I don't see why they wouldn't. They're just monstrous names. People want their money in these stocks, right? These are the stocks they want their money in because they know that they're setting themselves up for the longer term time horizon. I don't know if Peloton's going to be around in 30 years. Do I think Apple is? Yes, I absolutely do. So where would I rather have my money now? I would much rather have it in Apple and Microsoft. So Microsoft, beautiful bounce off 280. As you guys know, I'm in calls here for April. Just looking for this to sort of trickle higher. Of course, it's going to matter on the NASDAQ to see what the NASDAQ does. But we just need to hold 280, right? That's the big key here. 280. If we do break 280, then you probably get a little bit more slippage. But 280 is a monster level. Would love to see this sort of just hold up with the NASDAQ. Huge volume on this bottom. Yeah, look at that. Just monstrous. There's guys, trust me, there are tons and tons and millions of people who bought shares here on Microsoft. I can guarantee it. There is tons of dip buyers that came in here around 280, 290. Huge volume, big double bottom. Microsoft had great earnings. So I would assume that you try to hold this 280 at least. Even if you do pull back to it, I would be surprised if this thing breaks down 280. You would probably need a really nasty NASDAQ move for that to happen. Snow, let's see what Snow's up to. Snow's not been in either, guys. Snow's just been weak lately. I haven't even looked at Snow. It's not even worth my time anymore. I was interested in Snow on the uptrend, but now Snow's just it's no longer a stock that people seem to want to be invested in. It's just losing steam ever since earnings. Yeah, and I'm one of them, correct. I'm a little drop of that volume in Microsoft. You couldn't even see it. That's how that's how much money is flowing into that there. But yeah, so a Snow I would watch 240. You can see previous support, resistance into support. Just watch the 240. I wouldn't be so positive on upside because you have a ton of rejections above, right? You have all this price action to engulf, but maybe you get a push into here, and then I would look for that rejection again. So watch 240 and watch 311. That's the little range there. All right, DraftKings, guys. I don't really even need to go over DraftKings, guys. This stock is just, what are you going to do here? Are you trying to catch the bottom? Is that the goal, right? What are you trying to do on DraftKings here? I just personally think it's a little bit too early to try to catch this. This stock is just, maybe you try to buy, maybe you buy some shares at all-time lows, but I just don't think it's a stock that you want to be in right now. I think you'll be sitting in drawdown for quite some time, maybe years. I don't see how, you guys need to understand one thing, right? Just because you see a stock like this get up to 74, that does not mean that this has to come back to 74 within any type of manageable time period, especially on a stock that is, this is not a blue chip safety, Apple, Microsoft type stock. This is a very speculative name that you don't know what's going to happen with the company. Does DraftKings, outlast the sports betting? Do they get, does someone take them over? Does someone beat them out? I don't know, right? It's very early to say. So does DraftKings have to get back to 74? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely not. DraftKings could stay sideways for the next 5 years. So we just don't know. This was very overvalued time on the small caps. We all know that. So maybe you try to, trade it off all-time low, but I would just be careful getting stuck into these names. I'm not really interested in any of the small caps. Qualcomm, this would be a good watch with AMD earnings. Qualcomm's been a beast. It's held up beautifully. It continues to hold up really well, and I would watch Qualcomm with AMD earnings. You can see we're holding this previous low, or this previous resistance right here, support, and that is pretty interesting to me. You guys can see right here, all right? So I would look to see, can Qualcomm hold this 160? If it can, maybe you get a push back into the 170s. So watch the 160 on Qualcomm, and make sure you are watching that around AMD earnings. That is going to be important. Toast, this is a good, I actually personally know a lot about this company because my family owns restaurants. My father's been in the restaurant business his whole life. Just a grind. I feel terrible for him because that is one of the hardest jobs you could ever do. I don't know how he does it, but owning restaurants is terrible, guys. Don't ever get into it. But this company is actually a fantastic company. A lot of people using Toast these days. I am very interested. I don't think people, this is the problem when stocks go public, right? I'll end the stream here, right? This is the problem when stocks go public, because they are so heavily watched quarter to quarter and how they are performing that their stock does something like this, right? But I know that restaurants absolutely love Toast. Their software, how they're revolutionizing, the checkout process at restaurants, and also the analysis that provides my father personally. I can see the analysis on the back end of how much food he sells, how much beer he sells, how many, it's just so minute. I can see everything, so many details about what's going on in the restaurant. It's crazy. How many ounces of this beer was sold on this day, right? So it's crazy. What's going on, what Toast is doing is very awesome. But when you get managed quarter to quarter, when you have investors hawking down on your business, this is what happens to a stock. And that's why I think some stocks should not go public, because Toast would be a fantastic private company. This is sad, because I know this is a great company, but I'm not going to touch it just because I say that, right? I'm not going to let my emotions get me into this stock. However, this is what happens. But Toast is good stuff. If you guys know restaurants, then you know that Toast is pretty widely used and is definitely up and coming. But that's the reality of the stock market, right? That's what you get into if you get a company public. You are getting people hawking over your back every single quarter, making sure that you are doing better and better. If you're not, stock's going to go down. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to the Discord, where we're gonna get our day started. Start trading today. Hopefully a good day. Watch those futures contracts. Watch that 14.5 and that 44.50 on the ES. That's a big level today. So hopefully tomorrow we can come to the live stream and celebrate a push higher. If not, we'll have to just stay calm and see what happens. So thank you guys for being here. If you guys could take 1 second before leaving, please press the like button. Please, it helps out the channel, helps out, grow these live streams. Let's get to at least 500, maybe 6, maybe 7. I just purchased their system for, Chef. I know you have, they're great, man. Toast is great. We're making more money than ever. Stock is hammered. I think all the emotion is nonsense. That's what happens. That's when you have a startup that goes public. If you're not showing... if you're not showing what these, people like every quarter, that's the problem with going public. That's why Elon doesn't want to take. That's why Elon does not want to take SpaceX public. If you guys are not aware, if you haven't read about this, Elon does not want to take SpaceX public because SpaceX is not a quarter by quarter business, right? SpaceX isn't going to make massive improvements quarter by quarter. SpaceX is like a year by year or multi-year, type of business. You don't make new, revolutionary things in 3 months in a company like SpaceX. So, if SpaceX went public and they showed bad things Q1 to Q2, why, the stock goes down? That's just ridiculous. That's not the type of company it is. So I think Elon's very smart by not taking that company public, at least not right now, because that would it would cause too much scrutiny. So you got to think about those things, especially as a business person. All right, anyways, that's a little bit off topic. Thank you, guys. See you in the Discord. If you want to join, link down below. And have a great day. Peace out.